everyone, and welcome back to another video at my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be watercoloring this floral bouquet from the Floral Bliss stamp set. So it's exclusive to the June 2017 card kit. And I just cut down the Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock that came in the card kit, and I cut it down to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 because I like to make 5 by 7 cards mostly instead of the smaller A2 size cards. And I got my Misty out today because this is a brand new stamp set and it has a lot of detail to it. So I want to just make sure that it stamps nicely. So I'm just going to set that in the corner here. It's a brand new stamp, so I just want to rub it just a little bit to, get any manufacturing residue off to help it stamp easier, cleaner. But is why I'm using the Misty, because I do want it to be able to stamp it a couple of times. So I'm just going to line it up along the edge of the cardstock here. Put my door over, pick it up, bring it back over. I'll take my Versamark ink and just ink it up really good. Make sure my paper is all the way in the corner. And give it a nice, good even press. It's really hard to see on the bumpy watercolor cardstock, so I'm just, especially since this is a new stamp, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it again. Okay. Just going to set that aside. Oh, and one thing that I did forget to do was use my Embossing Buddy powder bag, so I'll just have to hope that I don't have any stray powder because it's static. I'm going to be using this embossing powder by Ranger. It's called Princess Gold. It's pretty fine. I usually have good success with it with fine line detail. Going to pour it over and tap off the excess, hopefully. And you can take a clean dry brush and just brush away anything that's astray. Okay, I've got it all heat embossed and everything, and the heat embossing did warp my paper a little bit, so I just have a little bit of tape, blue painter's tape, holding it down. So I'm going to use the Daniel Smith watercolors that came in the Simon Says kit, and these colors are Quinacridone Gold, Quinacridone Rose, Ultramarine Blue, and Sap Green. So what you want to do is have some water. You want to also have a paper towel handy. So I think I'm going to start with my leaves. And so you just touch the edge of the little paint droplet and pick some up on your brush. And then just start brushing it in. Will help your paint move around if you do wet your cardstock. If you want a more intense color, then don't pre-wet your cardstock. Okay, up until this point, you've been watching it in real time, but the coloring did take quite a while. I think I had a total of like 45 minutes of video time. So in order to get this down under 10 minutes, I sped the coloring up 10 times and then the rest of the video up by 3 times. So, but I think even at 10 times, you still see you know, how I colored, you know, the bouquet of flowers and everything. And basically I did a light wash of water and then went in with the color, and I just went back and intensified, you know, some areas just to give some shading and some light darks just to make the flowers look different and the petals, you know, look different. So there wasn't anything that was real uniform. Um, and so far I've just used the straight colors and just, you know, either watered them down or, you know, used them full strength. But in a minute here I will mix some of the red and the blue on my watercolor palette here. That's an Art Impressions watercolor palette, just to give me this purple color for this other flower. And then I decided for the last flower, I used the Warren Lipstick Distress Oxide that came in the June 2017 Simon Says Stamp Card Kit. And I just watercolored a little bit with those, and that finished off my watercoloring. So I think it looked really good with the gold embossing. And so then I decided to gold emboss around the edge, and this is just kind of a free flow gold embossing. It's supposed to look a little jagged and artsy, so I just rubbed the Versamark pad around it and then sprinkled on the embossing powder and melted it. And then now for the sentiment on the front of the card, I'm just using one of the sentiments from the Floral Bliss stamp set. I think this was Forever and Always. And I'm just going to gold emboss this on some pink cardstock. I'm not sure what this was. This was just something I had in my scrap pile. It was a texture cardstock. And so I just gold embossed on it. And then I'm using my stitched banner dies from Simon Says Stamp just to cut that out. And I'm going to use my Cuttlebug and run that through real quick just to get that cute little banner cut out. That was just a perfect size for the front of my card. I'm using the black Simon Says cardstock that came in that same kit. And like I said before, this is a 5x7 card. And I'm putting a lot of adhesive down with my Scotch ATG because it is watercolor cardstock and a little bit warped from all the heat embossing and stuff. And then I'm just using some foam squares because I'm going to pop up my sentiment. Probably would have been a more efficient way to do this, maybe with some craft foam or something, but I had my foam squares handy, so I just decided to use my foam squares. And just mash that down really good. And then I got my liquid pearls out. I believe the color of this is blush, and it was clogged, so I hadn't used it in a while, so I had to use a pen to unclog it. But whether it's liquid pearls or enamel accents or whatever, I always squeeze the first little bit out on a piece of scrap paper because there's always some air in it. You want to tap underneath to make all the little peaks go down. But because there's always some air in these little bottles, and if you don't squeeze a little bit off on a piece of scrap paper, then you'll all over the front of your card, and that would be not good. So for the inside of the card, I'm just going to do the same thing, take the Versamark around the edge and do some heat embossing with the gold. I also used another sentiment from that same stamp set, and the individual flowers I stamped with Barely Beige, and that finished off the inside of my card. And here's one last look at the outside of my card. So I appreciate you watching, thumbs upping, and subscribing to my channel. It really means a lot to me, and if you see anything that interests you, I've got links to all the products in the description box below and over at my blog. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.